Hi, before we move on to the video today, this is a quick PSA by future me as I'm editing. I am very sorry to have the video you're about to watch out so incredibly late. Unfortunately, I got quite sick when Los Ratones was playing the finals. Not only that, I also had some other responsibilities I had to take care of. I know it's ironic to hear a league player talking about responsibilities, but yeah, I'm glad to be finally back and I truly hope you still enjoy reliving how LR won EMEA Masters. What a great day to be alive, and what a great day to be a Los Ratones fan, am I right? As usual, it's Blue Buff here, your guy for League Esports and Los Ratones or Los Ratones updates, whatever you wanna call it. Today, we will be breaking down the final games of EMEA Masters LR just played, as well as doing some chit-chat regarding exactly how they got here in the first place. Let me get this one thing out of the way. It sure feels amazing to say Los Ratones are officially winners of EMEA Masters. I'm not saying I doubted them, but I knew this would be by far the hardest thing they can achieve right now. It is the highest level of competition they can play, considering caedrel does not necessarily have a couple $1 million to spare for an LEC spot, you know? With all the ups and downs, I think LR displayed an amazing performance in this tournament, having only a few hiccups here and there along the way. I also have to say, seeing them struggle against KC Blue, even Supermassive to a degree, then having them 3-0 both of their opponents in the semis and the finals is just so sweet. I'll be having another video up soon covering that 5-game epic series LR had in the quarterfinals, so for that, please do make sure to subscribe and let's finally move on to the game 1 of the finals. I would say the pick and ban phase went quite well for LR. Yeah, Rumble, Skarner and MF look really scary together, but having Baus's Galio locked in against only one AD comp, alongside having the Bard by rekkles for potential picks against Victor or MF isn't so bad. What could have went really bad is the early game. As LR tries to contest the enemy Raptors, the enemy team collapses on Valia almost perfectly. Yet, the enemy Victor has to flash to pick up the kill, which turns into a 1-for-1. The great thing about this game for the Rats was how easy they stacked dragons. They first traded the grabs for the first dragon, then after about 6 minutes of not exciting gameplay, LR easily secured the second dragon since it's a 4v5, with a Galio on LR's side and no TP on the enemy Rumble. From then on, we once again saw little to no action up until the third Drake, where a fight finally broke out. The big, huge thing here is Baus bullies the enemy Skarner out of the dragon pit, allowing Valia to get the dragon uncontested. Even though Bausi dies to a well-timed Skarner ultimate, I would still say this is great, because it puts LR only one dragon away from the soul, and I would take that any day of the week, come on. We once again don't see any kills on the map at all the way up to the dragon soul fight. By the way, the gold is still almost even between the two teams. The zoning by LR here, first by Bausi with the taunt, and by rekkles using his Bard ultimate, gives Valia the very important chance to get the Mountain Soul. It's a given, I know, however I want to reiterate, on an even game like this, the Mountain Soul is an incredible advantage. After securing the soul, the Baus-based TP doesn't really make any sense, but it's alright, we didn't see it, okay? By this point, I was thinking, sure, this game is not a stomp. Yet, the dragon stacking seems to be working perfectly for LR. There is just no way they come close to throwing it all, right? Well, let's take a look at the Atacam fight we got next. Although it looks like the Alistair is inting here by following the Bard portal, he is tanky enough with his ultimate to survive for a bit. In the meantime, MF zones away Nemesis, Reki, and Valia with her ultimate. LR, playing for the first target into the Viego reset mentality, gets a bit too confident, resulting in both rekkles and Valia getting completely destroyed by that awful Skarner plus Rumble combo. Los Ratones lose the Atacon, on top of that, they also lose the Baron at 27 minutes. So basically, this game went from looking easier and easier to a total disaster in just one fight. I wanna remind you, yes, LR did win the semis 3-0, but they were not the favorites coming into the series. Los Ratones lost to KC Blue 2-0, who actually lost to IJC on the other side of the semifinals. If I'm not mistaken, LR wasn't the favorites only 2 times in their history. The first being against Supermassive, which was a very hard-fought series as I said, and the second time against IJC. Honestly, losing a lead like this at the very first game must have felt very nerve-wracking for the Rats, cause believe me, it felt exactly that way even for me as a fan. I just wanted to give you all this context to hopefully paint you a better picture of the stakes in this series. So yeah, moving on. I saw a tweet saying Los Ratones is the goats of winning unwinnable games. Oh well, I guess that's at least partially true. With their Baron buff, IJC disengages after taking the bot inhibitor. Since the siege is over, Baus wants to push the mid lane before the Elder Dragon. That doesn't work out well at all because we get to see this monster MF with 2k gold lead making easy work of Baus, leading to IJC getting the Elder risk-free. I didn't like this situation while I was watching the game, I didn't like it at all. With the Elder buff on their hands, IJC set their sights to the top lane inhibitor. Thankfully, Nemesis shockwave is huge onto the Skarner, and Valia buffers away from the Skarner ultimate just in time. LR still ends up losing Baus to the Elder Burn, along with also losing their inhibitor. It is far from ideal, however, it could be IJC is so much worse with the Elder, so we take it I guess. As the game gets near the 35-minute mark, we once again see the two teams fight it out for the Baron. Even though LR is down almost 6,000 gold, they find the perfect window to fight back while IJC is taking the Baron. IJC secures the Baron, but then give up not 1, not 2, but 3 kills to the Rats. LR even delays the last kill onto the Victor to make sure his timer for the second Elder of the game is messed up. A simple yet very effective play if you ask me. Trying to utilize the numbers advantage they have created, LR starts the Elder with 6 seconds left on Victor's death timer. That may not sound like a lot, except it kinda is. Since the TP in this new season takes forever, it gives Los Ratones enough time to chunk the Elder without going into a full-fledged teamfight. The enemy's corner of course isn't just going to let it go. He flashes onto Valia, stunning him. Fortunately, Valia gets out of there with his ultimate, then flashes right back to smite the Elder. I don't know what to say, I don't wanna spoil the rest of the games for you completely, but let me just tell you, Valia won the MVP for this series, and he deserved that 101%. Before we move on to the second game, I want to show you the gold graph for game 1. I don't even have the words to explain how crazy that looks. For reference, LR is the pinkish red team and IJC is displayed as blue on this graph. It is just absolute cinema as usual with LR, what can I say? Now moving on to the pick and ban phase of game 2, we see that Y-Flex pick LR has been using for a while, and the legendary Syndra of Nemesis coming in. As LR sees IJC has picked an AD mid laner with a Sejuani in the jungle, they pivot to picking Cho'Gath for baus, cause even if IJC picks an AP top laner at this point, they are still going to be somewhat AD heavy, you know? Interestingly enough, IJC opted for Ambessa, so we are going to get to watch a full tank Cho'Gath by baus against a full AD team composition. Surely sounds winnable, no? We have a Blitz in this game, so of course there's going to be some sort of early game shenanigans. Gotta give them their credit though. IJC used the Sejuani stun, then the Blitz hook to a perfection, securing a kill for their ADC only 2 minutes into the game. Unlike the first game, we are going to see a bit more action in this one. Neme, the GOAT, even while his flash is down, takes long enough to die due to his insane movement. Thanks to that, LR manages to turn this into a 2-for-1 with kills falling into Crownies and Valia's hands. As if that's not great enough for the Rats already, Valia also manages to get the first dragon shortly after. A couple minutes later, Blitz somehow, someway hit this hook to Nemesis. However, that's not enough to put Neme down, and this time the Rats strike back even more perfectly. They get a kill onto the Corki without giving up anything. I have to say, this was very well played by Neme. I think he shouldn't have been hooked in the first place. Anyway, it turned out alright I suppose. Another skirmish breaks out in the mid lane where we see Valia and Neme take down Blitz first. Sadly, Rekkles with his Rakan is not there in time to save Nemesis. As that little lucky Corki ran away, Sejuani joins in with her ultimate, killing the Rakan pretty easily. So yeah, that definitely wasn't the type of outcome I would hope for in this type of situation. Having clearly won the skirmish, IJC gets way too overconfident, resulting in both the Sejuani and the Blitzcrank dying, trying to take some camps from LR's jungle for some reason. We'll take it though, no problem. The Blitzcrank unfortunately continues to be a major headache for Nemesis, particularly when the Sejuani is alongside him. While Neme is still 1k gold up, he gets taken down once more. Cut the guy a break, come on. Valia gets cut literally 15 seconds after as Rekkles is trying to set up vision around the dragon. But this time around, the Rats decide to punch back at IJC. Even though the fight starts a bit messy, LR just take over with a beautiful ulti by Rakan and a crucial cancel on Corki's W by Valia. In the end, Crowny gets to glide here with his Ashe. I just love it. The great thing is, LR pulled the trigger before the dragon even spawned, so they basically get it for free now that they have won the fight. The next team fight in the mid lane doesn't go as well though. Looking back, I feel like Valia just went too deep here. I mean, he partly got taken too deep by Blitz's flash, so I understand it. The good thing is LR still manages to kill the Blitz. The bad thing is, while they do that, IJC take down 2 in Syndra and Ashe. The disaster doesn't stop there. Both of those kills go to Corki, so yeah, he's back in the game now. After winning this fight, IJC also gets to have the Herald for themselves, which they use for bot tier 2. LR is able to trade that with top tier 2, so all things considered, I wouldn't call this a bad play at all. As the third dragon is finally here, since LR is once again the side with the dragon stacking going, IJC understandably doesn't want to give it for free. LR doesn't get the third dragon this time around, yet the enemy team fall right into Neme's trap of a 2-man Syndra stun. The Rats follow that CC chain beautifully, and when all is said and done, LR gets 2 kills in exchange for giving up the Drake. Of course, they move down to the Atacon right away. While IJC tries to contest this, it's all futile for them as LR easily get the Atacon. Remember how I said a tank Cho'Gath would be huge against a full AD composition, like what IJC is playing with right now. Well, we start to see that in full effect. Los Ratones try to siege the mid tower, looking to catch someone with an Ashe ultimate preferably. While the initial engage doesn't go as planned, the turnaround definitely does. The most important thing here is Baus body blocking the Sejuani ult for Neme, and from there the rest of his teammates are able to find openings themselves now that the threat of a Sejuani ultimate is gone. As you can see, the rats are just way too strong front to back, and they make it look easy, to be honest. As IJC tries to disengage, the blitz flash hook attempt is solid, but Crowny immediately matches that flash. I know, not having your ADC's flash up for a Baron fight is not the best thing in the world, but knowing that Blitz doesn't have it either at least gives me some comfort, you know? Then at the 25-minute mark, while the Reds are 2k gold up, it all comes down to this. IJC decides to pull the trigger, starting the Baron. Of course, the Reds have to contest it. Contest it they do. The Ashe Arrow and all members of LR walking up splits the fight just enough for them to walk into the pit, and as expected, the Cho'Gath of Baus straight up eats the Baron like it's nothing. With the Baron in LR's hands, it really looks mega hopeless for IJC by this point. The gold lead is growing further and further, and once again IJC is a full AD comp. Like, what are they going to do to Bausy when he has so much health and armor? I mean, they still give it a try by engaging near the dragon, however it doesn't even look close. At this point in the game, Los Ratones is so ahead they can just walk up and siege bot inhibitor even without the help of the Baron buff. They base after doing that and take the Baron yet again to finally make their move to siege mid as 5. One very important thing here though is how Velia takes the blitz Q, therefore saving Nemesis. That's kinda sick, especially since he can get out of there with his ultimate. Oh, by the way, I'm never ever getting used to these incredible stunts Nemesis always seem to land with Syndra. Absolutely amazing. A clean 2-0 by LR in this series so far, and now we move on to the third game. I have one thing that I really want to criticize as far as the picks and the bans go for the third game. Why is IJC so set on banning Maokai, and not only that, why are they even banning Leona? Like, I guess it's to set up a range support, but Rekkles doesn't even play Leona that much, does he? I don't know what they had in their mind, I just think the drafting could use a little bit of work for sure. To be fair, on the Los Ratones side, we see a double AD carry comp with a Lulu and an Nidalee, which doesn't sound that great. Still, I think it's kind of different when you have players like Velia and Baus on their comfort picks. Gragas top may not be the most optimal meta pick, yet we've seen it work for Baus time and time again. Anyway, let's move on to the game. For the first time in the series, we do not witness anything crazy for the initial couple minutes. Yeah, there were some fighting, but there were no kills by either team. I don't know if you know, but there's this meme about Los Ratones' third games being an auto loss, and well, I think I can see why. The first proper fight of the game is between the two mid laners, and their junglers take this super duper long fight against each other, but in the end, it's not the mid laners or the junglers who die. It is unfortunately Crowny who ends up giving the first blood to the enemy AD carry. It doesn't stop there, as LR bot lane in the early game just cannot catch a break. And it's so unlucky too, like they trade heavily with the enemy bot lane, and during that, Crowny unknowingly dashes in while Lilia is just there. So he tries to flash right away, only to still get sleeped by the Lilia. I don't know, what can I say? I think this is a proper game 3 Los Ratones disaster. When we take a look at the top side of the map, we see Baus as being his usual self, playing so many mind games with his opponent. As Lilia closes in to collect the kill, the crazy thing is Baus almost makes it out of there. Lilia has to use her flash, which is better than Baus dying for nothing, but that still is the third kill going to the enemy jungler. Not entirely ideal, as you can tell, she can get really scary from here for sure. The next play that happens is in the mid lane this time. Los Ratones, looking to turn things around, engage on the relatively overextended enemy AD carry. Baus, for some reason, cannot do the combo he wanted, so that's really sad to watch. This whole situation for LR gets very dire very quick, as Velia fails to take down that menace of Lilia. And with Cassandra collapsing in, it seems like LR is fully cooked here. Not all is lost though, Bausy somehow makes it out of there, and there is no one flashing after him this time. As for Velia, well, let's just say he takes IJC for a ride here. Seriously though, in addition to surviving that initial collapse, he comes back and gets that sweet shutdown on the enemy jungler, finally. He sadly has to die since the other members of IJC are still collapsing on him. I think he could have wasted their time a bit more, cause we know Cassandra wasn't even following. I don't know, like, would it be worth it? Probably not. The karma could still catch him, and yeah, he ends up trading a 1-for-1 with LR getting the big shutdown, so we will take it. I truly think this was the play that turned the game around. Velia getting that shutdown is not only big for the gold, but it's also a huge mental win. Like, come on, the Lilia was running this game, and it sure feels good to see her go down in that fashion. fashion. LR keep this energy going with a gank by Valley on the top side. Cassante isn't exactly the easiest champ to dive as we all know, so I thought it was incredibly crucial that they don't give him a 1-for-1. The Rats thankfully do not give him anything. Beautiful. Another shutdown for LR which directly goes into the pockets of Bossy. These Atacam fights, oh boy, they always seem to be wild throws and fiestas. I guess it has to do with how you lose your armor and MR while you're hitting it. Anyway, that's not even what happens here. IJC makes a big blunder if you ask me by starting Atacon, and as you can see, the Lilia has almost no mana, so she decides to run up to her jungle to get that back. For some reason, she goes all the way up to her wolves, which basically gives LR the Atacon for free. They'll take that, thank you. I mean, there was probably a big miscommunication on the side of IJC, but that still doesn't change the fact that the call was flat out terrible. The great thing here is with the Zeri autos, Crowny is able to get almost all of the roses, and LR also gets the Cassante, failing to back down with the rest of his team. Like, after that early game, it's insane how the gold lead is now down to under 1k. Where we are at right now after the Atacon is a very good game state for LR in my opinion. Yeah, the Sivir is ahead of Crowny barely, yet we are talking about a Zeri with a Lulu alongside her, so I think any gold difference between Crowny and his opponent will be nullified just because of the Lulu factor, if you know what I mean. The thing with 2 AD plus Lulu composition is LR just melts the Baron so quickly. Once again, Lilia isn't even able to be there in time for a 50-50. In essence, that's a free Baron for LR on top of the free Atacon they just got a couple minutes ago. Thanks to the Baron buff, LR is able to siege in a very aggressive manner, and Velia, oh man, Velia. He catches Lilia in her jungle and straight up deletes her. It is so wild to see this Nidalee up 2 levels on Lilia cause IJC started the game so well, you know? As far as this game goes, we get to see one final team fight at the top lane. It's hard to call it a fight to be honest. LR take over completely. IJC is not even able to put up a good fight at this point. When all is said and done, LR taking kills on the enemy fountain is just the cherry on top. That's pretty much it. This series comes to a close with a perfect 3-0 by Los Ratones. I don't have lots to say other than they really deserve to become champions with their overall performance throughout the split. I sincerely hope you enjoyed going over this historic series with me today, and for more Los Ratones or League esports content in general, please do make sure to leave a like, subscribe, tell me what you think down in the comments. I promise I will be there to answer them all. Take care, bye bye.